Another day, another chance, another way, another dance. I don't know why I keep on saying that. Today I'll be discussing to you all about something that needs to be talked about, and that's pretty much lesson 22. And lesson 22 would be example discussing adding sessions and flash messages. So, setting up flash message modules, right? So you're pretty much going to be setting up sessions and cookies, creating flash messages and controller actions, and then setting up validation middleware on oncoming data. So flash messages semi-permanent data used to display information to users of an application. These messages originate in your application server, travel to your user's browser as part of a session. Sessions contain data about the most recent interaction between users and applications, such as the current login user length of time before a page times out, or messages intended to be displayed once. There are many ways to incorporate flash messages into your application. This lesson you use the connect flash middleware module by typing API connect flash s in terminal to install its message package to your application as a dependency. Now you need to install two more packages by running npm I cookie parse express session s in terminal, then require these three modules connect flash, cookie parser, and express session in your main.js file along with some code to use the modules. You need the express session module to pass messages between your application and the client. These messages persist on the user's browser but are ultimately stored in the server. Express session allows you to store your messages in a few ways on the user's browsers. Cookies are one form of session storage, so you need the cookie parser package. So this is pretty much going over the modules that you need installed in order for you to have like flash messaging installed on your library so that you can see, the flash messages, right? So requiring flash messaging in Node.js, right? So yeah, so you've got your routes, flash messages, your routes, mind my pronunciation of that. So you got flash messaging, connect flash. So cookie parser, so it just parses the cookies, that you're gonna be making use of, when you sending a when you establish a relationship between your user and your application, method override, and then app that use connect flash. So it's pretty much taking our app and applying it, you know, just applying it. That's what's happening. And here's the flash message middleware. So the middleware is used to create like our parameters, a response record, and then any. So that's what we need. Right, so adding flash messages to control sessions. To get flash messages working, you need to attach them to the request made before you render a view to the user. Generally, when a user makes a GET request for a page, say to load the home page, you don't need to send a flash request. Flash messages are most useful when you want to notify the user of a successful or failed request you're usually involving the database. And these requests, such as for user creation, you typically redirecting to another page depending on the outcome. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then so for main.js, that's our function for main.js. And then here's our middleware, wrapping user parameters in the function, and flash messages, right, to users controller.js. So we got const user require, const get user parameters return, model.exports, index view. So we got our parameters in user controller for create, and then you got user create, then what request flash. So what that does is request our flash, and then within our flash you can see success. Then the user's account created successfully. Then redirect view, show view, so on and so forth. So in this lesson, just pretty much learning how to like add flash views. So as you can see here, you gotta when you're doing user new and you try to create an account, you're gonna see Darjeeling's account created successfully. So yeah, as you can see, that's the case. So it's pretty much going over like Flash. So yeah, anything yeah. So let me just that's pretty much what's going over. Right. So yeah. So yeah. So use strict. So obviously use strict. It's pretty much as to pretty much remove any irregular syntax. Then my Node.js. I mean, cancel. So you got const express, so you require express app. So these are just making like requirements, for these apps, and then assign them permanent variables or global variables that pretty much retain its value. Otherwise, an error will get returned. And then same thing for controllers. So for our controllers, we pretty much import them onto our main.js. So when we're running our node main.js on our terminal, these routes and these paths will pretty much be used or synthesized in our URL for now localhost 3000. So yeah, we pretty much requiring our variable, which is error controllers or the courses control, or just pretty much the controllers that you'd find on our app, for control. And then mongoose.promise equals global.promise, mongoose connect, mongodb, so on and so forth. Right, so this is pretty much our server because the log successfully connected to Mongo use DB using Mongoose, then catch error equals 0 greater than console error, MongoDB connection wrong, and then yeah, you got our app that set port process .env port or 3000, right? So view engine comma EJS, so on and so forth. So you pretty much got those going. Yeah, and then you got your method override. Right, so then you got the infamous connect flash. Then in your locals, because you're using a local, because our server is local, you got a parameters file name directory name, app, exports, express, layouts, method override, modules, and mongoose. Then you got your require, then router. So mongoose, is pretty much that thing that we database that we making use of. So yeah, that's what you're using. Right, then step over again. Concept subscribe controller. I went over that already. Go on now. Then my server, my app configuration, which pretty much configures my my port. You know, gives you the option to use the environment port or the server. Right, so app.set InViewEngine.ejs, app.use, right, app.use, app.use, app.use method override, app.use cookie parser, app.use secret, app.use flash, uh, app.use command now, and then router.get, router.get, and then yeah, pretty much our routes, our rerouting of different like paths that we've got. So for our different routes that we use user control index, use controller for new, use controller for create, edit, update, delete. So these are pretty much routes that we use. So we use the same HTTP response, but the different URLs for those. So yeah, that's what you pretty much have. And then we got subscribers, right? Subscribers, and then our app that listen. Then our server runs an HTTP localhost. Yeah, our HTTP localhost. Yeah, router that delete, right? Router that get. So it's pretty much all the stuff like the whole works for our routes and so on and so forth. So let me skip to my server. So that's my server there. Server running at HTTP localhost 2000. Then app listen. So my app listener just listens for changes that are made to my